The only race I care about, we care about, is the human race. And the only color I worry about is the color of green.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the greatest podcast ever, the Sean Lowery Show. I have a great guest today, Matt Sapaula. How are you, man?
Very good, man. Great to be here.
You're great to be here. I love to hear it. You're a U.S. Marine Corps combat veteran turned entrepreneur, and you're known as the money smart guy.
Boom.
And you're the host of the 7-Figure Squad channel on YouTube. How do I get in the squad? How do I get in the squad?
Got to make 7 figures. I think you're part of the squad already, though, dog. I think. It's got to be take home, though. It's got to be take home. Take home.
Right. I'm not there yet. I'm investing back into my business. So I can't say that I make 7 figures just yet, but I'm getting there.
Love hearing it, man. Glad you're on the way.
And you're the chief officer of the PHP agency, which my podcast audience knows as Patrick Bet David's company. And so you're crushing that. And he kind of is spending more of his time doing Valuetainment stuff now, right?
Yeah, I mean, Patrick by default is now running 2 companies, running PHP agency, and he's running Valuetainment. So they just launched VT Post,
right?
The independent source of news for busy people.
I love that.
So
he's going for the media company type thing. I mean, we need good, reliable media sources out there in the world these days.
For sure. Too
many people are brainwashed.
Yes. By the way, have you seen the Social Dilemma on Netflix?
I have seen it.
Hello.
Very interesting. Interesting. I got to say that when I saw it, I thought it was really interesting, but I kind of knew that already. Basically, like everybody's addicted to their phone. Like, are you addicted to your phone?
Everybody's addicted to their phone, right?
But I'm addicted to my phone 100%.
Yeah. Who doesn't check their phone every 30 seconds?
Yeah. I guess the difference is like how you use it. My main takeaway from that Social Dilemma thing was if you're a 15-year-old girl and you have a developing mind and you do an Instagram post and someone has a negative comment or you don't get enough likes and then your self-esteem is all messed up, that is like the negative of parts. I don't know. I'm a grown man. Like, I love negative comments and I understand I'm addicted to my phone, but there's a difference between playing a stupid game versus like checking my sales or checking my emails or stuff like that. So I'm addicted to my phone and I'm not super concerned about it.
Yeah, you're right. Because, we're at an age where we hopefully for most people, they can understand, self-esteem and self-awareness and self-worth. But you're right. When you're 14, 15, 16 years old and you're still figuring out, peer pressure and all that type of stuff, where I fit in the world, and you're still having either mommy issues or daddy issues or self issues, I can see what that really affects. And sadly, our son, he's 10 years old. Mommy decided to give him a phone, but we had him watch that before he took possession of the phone.
That is, I just got married recently, and kids could be in the future. And I think parenting is an interesting topic, but that is such a good one. When do you give your kid a phone? So 10 years old. I mean, one thing you should probably want to be able to contact them, right?
Sure.
Are you gonna put the tracking on?
The tracking is on, and there's hours that they have the device. And if he wants to earn more hours or earn more time on, he's got to read books.
All right. That's great. I love that. I know Pat does that too. Do you think at a certain age you'll like turn off the tracking? What if he's 17 years old, he's going out with his buddies, he says he's going to his friend's house, but maybe he's going to a kegger.
When you're paying that bill, you can turn it off. Until then, I'm turning it on. It's my phone. I'm just letting you use it.
That's completely fair. I love it. Yeah. So I was going to ask Patrick Bet David, obviously the man, everyone loves him.
Yeah.
Got any embarrassing stories? Something about Patrick Bet David that's embarrassing. You got anything?
Oh, we're just talking about this. We did a signature signing. We put together our declaration of values and principles as a company. It was a surprise trip. Patrick surprised us all. He flew us all out to where's it, Jacksonville or Fort Lauderdale. We took a private jet to a special undisclosed location. So we got in this private jet, didn't know where we were going to land.
That's so cool.
They confiscated our phones. We landed, we got in the bus. We still didn't know where we were going. Anyway, make a long story short, by the time we got there, we crossed this long bridge. It says Jekyll Island. We're like, what? I've heard this before. Jekyll and Hyde, the book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Oh, this is where the Federal Reserve was created. This is where Senator Aldrich came here and they put together the laws. And 3 years later, it was a secret trip. Because back then there's no planes. Everybody's taking the rail car out of New York.
Right.
Anyway, make a long story short, Patrick is great. Some great stories is Patrick is great at rewarding his people because he has this one saying: "Take care of your people, or somebody else will." And I come from a company that they didn't take care of me. They treat me like a piece of shit. And you know what? I was busting my tail, and I thought I had no other options until I had to build up my self-worth. And make a long story short, a pastor, a mutual friend of ours, connected us. And that's where I discovered my friendship and relationship with.
That's the opposite of an embarrassing story. Basically, he's the man. But
yeah. You got to be in our company there, Sean, to get those stories, because I can't be the guy that is a whistleblower.
True that. Fair enough. Pat's the absolute man, and that's cool. I saw your Instagram post about going to Jekyll Island, and I didn't know it was a surprise trip. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I've had a couple people on my podcast who look negatively on Jekyll Island because that's the place where the Federal Reserve was created. And now there's a lot of like the Bitcoin type people, the cryptocurrency people who think that like the dollar is going to collapse and our country just keeps printing money. Sure. And it's like screwed. It's going to screw it. It's going to, inflation's going to blow up and we're all going to be screwed. Like, do you have any thoughts on that? Like, do you have any cryptocurrency or do you think the dollar is going to bust?
Yeah, I do have cryptocurrency, but not enough of a percentage where if it loses everything, I'm not disrupted, any one bit. It's a small percent of my money, 4 or 5% of my money goes to Bitcoin.
That's a lot.
Yeah, which tells you I don't really believe in it. I mean, otherwise a larger percentage,
I guess, yeah.
But I do see a future in it. I just don't think that the federal government is going to release the number one thing that holds us to America, which is the American dollar, which is also the global currency.
Right, the reserve.
The global standard of money. I just don't think the American currency is going to be replaced by Bitcoin anytime soon without a large amount of regulation and some form of control, checks and balances.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to see it go up. It's almost like a stock, like an investment. You put your money in, it goes up, but like I look at it as an investment, and I think that, and then I just want to cash it out in dollars at some point. I mean, that's the way I think about it. And I don't know. We'll see what happens with the future. There's a big like industry or niche of people who are all about cryptocurrency and they just think it's going to collapse. And I think they're smart and they have some good points.
Yeah, they're probably right. Probably right to an extent. I've just seen so many things happen in my 21 years as an entrepreneur. Since 2004, I spent time with the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago because I was basically the guy giving financial literacy classes for their Money Smart Week. That's how I became the Money Smart guy, because I was doing Money Smart Week classes of financial literacy and financial education classes, which was sponsored by the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago here in my city. So, so I've gotten to know the intimate details about the Federal Reserve Bank and what they do with money and how people feel about capitalism, how people feel about the 6 evil men of Jekyll Island and all that type of stuff. But, with that being said, the good, with the bad sometimes comes the good. And I think part of the good that comes out of that is that, it created a centralized system for banking, although corrupt some people may see it. Who knows where we'd be without the central banking system through World War I? Where would we be through World War II if we wouldn't have a way for us to centralize our money in our banking system? Furthermore, when you're looking at the innovation that banking and lending has provided, companies like Zoom and Home Depot and Enterprise, businesses, I'm not so sure what others. That's why I'm asking. What would have been another solution if you don't propose a Federal Reserve? What would have been the other solution if you think it was so evil?
True. I mean, I don't have the answer to that. I actually I look favorably upon the government. Like, I mean, we have roads, we have police, we have great services. Like I couldn't be happier. Like I'm happy with how things are. Entrepreneurs are rewarded in a capitalist society. But yeah, for the money smart thing, what do you think the biggest misconception that like the average person has about money in general?
The biggest misconception I have with money is, so from an income standpoint, they think, okay, it's a paycheck. I'm going to get this every 2 weeks. They think that that's why people have the mentality of living paycheck to paycheck, or when you're in commission sales, commission check to commission check. And sometimes if you don't sell something, you just blew all your money and you're always playing from behind. Right. One thing I've seen about PHP, here's a story about PHP I'll share. Patrick is a very good saver. Patrick is a very good saver. There's plenty of our company. Like Patrick takes a de minimis salary, and it'll blow your mind. I can't reveal what it is, but majority of our sales guys make more money than him because he's reinvesting back into the company.
Right.
He wants his people to enjoy the fruits of building up, because that's his responsibility as a CEO founder. So he's reinvesting he's like, his mantra to us is, you guys will probably make more money. You build this company, you'll probably make more money over your lifetime than I ever have. And I'm the CEO founder.
That's amazing. That's great leadership. Even if,
Yeah.
that's kind of true. Just the storyline of like, hey, you guys make more money than me. That's great leadership right there. But yeah, like you said, the people that have to catch up, like the average person. I know. Shout out to Sauce, who I'm always DMing with him. He was on the podcast. I love that guy.
Yeah. Saucy.
And I think he brings good value to their podcast, because he doesn't like Trump. He's kind of the left a little bit, even though he's pretty much a centrist, loves capitalism. It's good to have another viewpoint on there. But he's always talking about saving that money and how important it is. And you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, and I don't have a paycheck every 2 weeks. I mean, I pay myself, but like I get the excitement of growing the sales, checking the sales. I can make more money one month than the other month from the company. But most people, they just have a paycheck, and it's not as exciting because they get it every 2 weeks. So you're saying for some of those, and that's most people.
Yeah.
So you think most of those people, they have too many regular expenses where they're always trying to catch up. Like, and I guess that just the lesson there is just the importance of saving and setting up your lifestyle where you're not losing money every month, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing, if about entrepreneurship, best thing about free enterprise and capitalism, that you're in control with these hands. You put your control here. When you are brought up in a system, an educational system, to teach you dependency and whether you're qualified to work for somebody else. Think about a whole school system. They're trying to get you qualified to go work for somebody else versus working for yourself. And you have to spend a whole good portion of your adult life to unlearn all that stuff, right? Because you're like, what? Like, I got to go to school, I got to go to college. That validates me. No, you validate you.
Right. Even a grade, a B minus. Like, oh, actually, I thought this paper was better than that. Like, you say it's a B minus. It's teaching you to be an employee. It's teaching you to look for validation, and then you apply to college where you get accepted or not accepted, which is looking to be validated. And then for 4 more years, you go get grades to look to be validated by someone else. Then you go apply for jobs, and you do an interview, and you're like, I think I did really good in this interview, but I need somebody else to validate me.
How did you start your business, Sean? What was your
I went to college, and I'm very happy I went to college because I think it's a great experience for everyone to just move out, meet new friends, start a new life, and all that. But by the time I graduated, 22, I got a job, a sales job, phone call job, and I was there for 2 months. And one Monday, I went to work, I sat down, got a coffee, and I went up to go to the bathroom. And the bathroom was the left and the door was the right. And I was just like, fuck it. And I just went to the right, and I went out to my car, and I drove out, and I emailed the boss. I'm like, I'm out of here. And I never worked for it.
Why did you walk out? What was the reason?
I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to start my own company. And I ever since I was 19, I had that mindset. I read the book Think and Grow Rich. And I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I had the thought process, I'm going to get a job and I'll save some money and then I'll do it down the road. And I knew that I was just prolonging. I was like, I got to start now. I have no kids. I have nothing that I need to, like, I don't have any payments. I don't have a mortgage. I have nothing. So now's the time to start. I'm going to create my adult life as something that I build. So I had nothing at the time. And I was in my mom's basement. I didn't even know what business I was going to start. Yeah. I started printing shirts in my mom's basement, which was a huge fire hazard. And it all shifted. Now I have an e-commerce clothing business, and it changed over the years many times, but it was the best decision I ever made. And I had that fire. I need to be an entrepreneur. I know that I'll be happier if I'm an entrepreneur. I'm motivated. I want to be successful. And that was me. I mean, do you think everybody should be an entrepreneur?
I don't initially. Because I don't think a lot of people are built with the inherent discipline, work ethic, understanding of money and finances, and consistency to a commitment. You said something pretty interesting there. You said you were 19 years old. So someone planted a seed inside of you when you were younger that started to manifest itself at 19 years old, which was covered up by the time in college. So you had this kind of like, caged lion type syndrome. They said, instead of going to the bathroom, I decided to go to, and do your thing. Yeah. And so most people that are entrepreneurs, my observation, 21 years of being an entrepreneur myself, most entrepreneurs, in my observation, it's never a logical decision. It's never a logical decision. People want to be
Right.
happy. They want to be happy. They want to be free. They want to control their own time. They want to control their own schedule. They want to have somebody put a thumb on the fork and somebody tells them they're worth this or they can do that. No, entrepreneurs, there's some form of caged lion inside of us. We have a different DNA, man. We're wired.
Right. And if you're a very smart person and you're making very practical decisions in life and you look, say you want to start a restaurant and you look at the statistics and you see most restaurants fail. Like it's not logical. It's completely illogical to start your own business. And most are going to fail. You probably are going to fail. And that's what you got to stick with it. And you got to pivot if you learn different things about the market that you're in. But I like that word. I like the word illogical.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, happiness is the most important thing. And I think being an entrepreneur provides you the opportunity to have so much happiness because the ceiling's so high. And if you had all the money in the world, like I personally, if I had all the money in the world, I would continue to work. I wouldn't want to go to a beach and just sit there and get a sunburn all the time,
Yeah. I mean, I've seen, when I entered in the insurance industry, financial services, I've seen both sides very quickly in the first 5 years of my insurance career. Because the first 5 years was working with retirees in nursing homes with their retirement plans and long-term care plans. I got this designation called CSA, Certified Senior Advisor. So I studied gerontology, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. And so I remember doing a financial seminar one time, in this, it was in this nursing community, pretty well to do. And the lady was sitting there, she was 100 years old. I'm like,
damn,
Miss, I'm thinking I'm 31, 32 years old at the time. And like, I said, Miss, ma'am, what are you doing in my financial retirement planning workshop? You're 100 years old. And she said something pretty profound to me. She says, I'll let my education get in front of my learning. There's always something to learn. She's 100 years old.
And that's probably why she made it that long, because she has that mindset.
Boom, that's it. That's it.
Like I've always been saying I want to live to be 150 or more. And the way I'm going to get there is I'm going to continue to keep my mind active and never get to a point where I feel like a lot of people, you remember when Joe Paterno died, the coach of Penn State? He died right after he quit coaching football.
Fired him. Yeah.
Right. And of course there's the whole scandal, whatever. Yeah. My point is that you took away the thing from him that he loved and he just died right away. Like if that never happened, I feel like he might still be coaching. And I think that kind of showed me a lot of times I see some old people die. Like my grandpa started going down the hill right after my grandma died. Like he lost something there and then he went downward ever since then. And I get it. I mean, it's a cute love story. But the lesson that I learned from that was you can live a longer life if you continue to have goals and have something to do, and you're going to have tragedies at some point. And if you can get through like one or two old people tragedies with basic exercise and generally good nutrition, I think people can live really long. I think it's more about the mindset. And that 100-year-old lady, she seems to get that. She's still at a class for retirement at 100 years old. I love that shit. That is so cool.
But based on modern medicine, you have a good chance, by the way. You have a good chance because, being in the insurance industry, I get to see what these insurance companies underwrite policies for. And, they have what they call CSO tables of what it costs per $1,000 of life insurance per age. These CSO tables now are going out to 120, 125, 130 years old.
Dang.
When I first started getting involved in the insurance industry, it was 1998. It was only up to 100, 105.
Wow.
So over my 21-year careers in the insurance industry, they've bumped up this age because people are living longer. And so, Sean, you have a good shot. You take care of your health. You have something to fight for and drive for, and you always are working on your next moves. You're gonna live a long life.
I like it, and you'll be with me, right?
Let's do it, baby. Come on, baby. I'll be turning 47 Saturday, so I don't know. I think I've lived pretty much half my life so far. We'll see, but I don't feel my age. That's for sure.
Yeah, you don't seem like your age, and I love when people are like a little older and they don't pigeonhole themselves. Oh, this is what 60-year-olds are supposed to do. This is what 70-year-olds are supposed to do. I love people who just continue to just be themselves and like still be cool and not like focus on what their age is. Focus on how they feel. So keep that up. You got a little white in your beard, but
little pepper.
Yeah, it was the silver fox. You look good. You look amazing.
Appreciate it. Bro.
Your YouTube channel, right? Like, who's your audience for your YouTube channel?
People that want to think like a millionaire, they want to strategize like a millionaire, so therefore they can become a first-generation cash flow millionaire. That's really for people who have a big, a mindset of having a big type of dream that they actually want to commit to fulfilling. Today I just launched a video on my YouTube channel called "How to Vote like a millionaire.
How do you vote like a millionaire?
How to vote like a millionaire? Because, if you plan to have some form of financial freedom one day, and if you actually do the numbers, if you want to be financially free, and people say, I want to be financially free. I said, what's the number? Well, I don't know. So we have them do the number, right? 4 kids, 3 kids, 5 kids, whatever, husband, wife, I want to live here. I want to blah, 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 blah. I don't ever want to worry about money. I want to slap my credit card without worrying about my balance. Great. What is it? Here's what we find. $700,000, $800,000, $1 million. So you got to be making that type of money for you not to be. I mean, my wife said, babe, when we started making $250 with 4 kids, we started feeling food freedom. Like we could go to Whole Foods, whole ripoff, what do you want to call it? We can buy organic, non-GMO, I don't care, homemade, whatever. We can buy whatever food to the betterment of our health,
right,
to what we put into our body without worrying about the cost. We can go to any restaurant and read the menu, right? From the right side, from the left side, withoot ever looking at the right side. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. It actually is. I know it's a nice feeling. Like,
right.
I mean,
so we felt that at 250. So for all these people think they can get away with 60, 80, $100,000 a year, I don't know.
Yeah, right. And I like how you said, just do the math. Like it's basic math. You just have to think about it and you have to see where you're at. And you shouldn't be surprised down the road, if you just do the math and you understand like what your number is. So I like that. And I know you're in the financial like planning world and all that. And that's I like that. And that's kind of the lessons that you're giving to people.
Yep.
And the people who aren't necessarily entrepreneurs, in those cases, they can maybe buy a smaller home or figure out ways that they can save money in other ways so they can have that food freedom on however much they make.
Yep.
You just have to manipulate it to your favor, and you have to think about it, right?
Yeah, you want to be mobile. I think that for the most part, I've been talking to a lot of multimillionaires and a lot of decamillionaires and billionaires. A lot of them have been rethinking home ownership.
Yeah,
I've been rethinking home ownership. Now they'll buy property, but they might rent. They might rent where they live because they want to live here. 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 They want flexibility and mobility, and they find deductions and equity building elsewhere in their business or in the real estate properties or in their investments, not necessarily inside the residential property. So
is that based upon the fact that they're going to different places? So like, why own a home here and then stay in a hotel? Like if you're going to 3 different cities, you can rent in all those different cities. I mean, it's interesting that they're rethinking home ownership because I always thought that was like the staple.
By the way, that may have worked when The Millionaire Mind was written by Dr. Thomas Stanley, in the 80s and the 90s, and verse 2. But the reality is 83% of all millionaires are self-made. 55% of billionaires are self-made. They want flexibility. They want to move around. Right. They've made their money through what you're talking about throughout this podcast, which is entrepreneurship and building equity in an asset that doesn't necessarily mean a primary residence.
Yeah, I like that. All the most successful people are self-made. They're entrepreneurs. Yeah. Like what would be, if you had to summarize and give like your favorite or your one most single piece of entrepreneurship advice? There's a lot of it out there. What would you tell someone? They're young, they want to become a millionaire, and they're looking for one piece of advice.
I would say learn how to sell. That'd be the first thing. Learn how to sell. Because sometimes people get involved in sales. They get involved in business. They don't know sales. They don't know how to sell themselves. They don't know how to sell themselves, why they're doing that. That's why I was asking you, Sean, why did you do what you do? Because I'm wondering what type of conversation that was to sell yourself to make a right turn versus a left turn. You sold yourself.
Yeah.
There was a level of conviction there that said, screw it, I'm calling you. I'm out of here. Peace out, dog. Right? I'm leaving the job. And so you sold yourself an ideal, an initiative, an opportunity greater than what you had your job. So you are every day you're selling yourself. Well, Matt, you don't understand what you're selling. You're selling me.
Right,
you don't understand my situation. You're selling me a limited belief. You're selling me a failure mindset.
Right.
You're selling me scarcity versus abundance. Right. You're selling me that you can't do it versus you can do it.
Right. I think when a lot of people hear sales, they think of picking up a phone call, making a pitch for a certain product or service, and they're like, I'm not good at that. I'm not a salesperson. But it's so much more than that. I'm every time I have an employee come in for an interview, like I'm selling them. Like it's in so many different elements. Like if you want to convince your wife to go to this restaurant tonight, you have to sell them. Oh, it's closer to home. Like sales is either to yourself or to another person, like shifting their perspective. And that's across the board. Like
Yeah.
you can't just not be a salesperson.
Yeah. For example, my team is here. By the way, say hi, Ivan. Say hi, Ali. They're my team. Say hi.
Hey, come on in. Come on in.
These are my guys. This is Ali.
Hey, what up, dudes?
Right. This is Ali. This is Ivan.
Ali and Ivan. What's up, guys?
All right. And so one of my guys here from San Antonio is here. He's up here just visiting. He's making 100,000.
Hey,
Army entrepreneur right here. So these are my
guys. You guys like Matt?
Them.
Matt, was Matt a good salesman? Did he sell you guys?
Absolutely.
Right.
You're right. You're there.
So Jesse runs his own business. So
Okay.
I had to sell him an opportunity working together with me, but he pretty much bought on the way because of YouTube videos. But I had to sell Ali and Ivan. Hey man, this is a 7-figure squad. I know we're nothing right now. We're at maybe 16,000 subs. We're in 60 days, we're at 26,000 subs.
Boom.
Because I sold them, hey, we can build something together from scratch. We have zero revenue. Now I think we made like $3,000, $4,000 on YouTube revenue.
Hell yeah.
And my compensation structure with them is, hey, listen, if you're going to have some skin in the game, then I'm going to pay you like you got some skin in the game.
Love it. And for everyone listening, go subscribe.
Yeah.
Give them the exact channel described to you. Give a little pitch to your channel while your guys are there.
Sure. Hey guys, subscribe to 7-Figure Squad. If you want to think bigger because you want to become a first-generation cash flow miner, consider subscribing to my channel so we can give you thoughts. We can give you the strategy. So therefore, you can become a first-generation cash flow millionaire. So subscribe today.
Boom. Hit the button.
Notifications. Yeah,
I subscribe today.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, bro.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's exciting. And yeah, again, illogical. You said zero revenue in the beginning. Like,
yeah,
it's just that's how you got to think. And I have no doubt that you'll be successful. And yeah, and Patrick Bet-David is your mentor, and he started Valuetainment with just not a lot of subscribers, right? Just making videos.
It's crazy. I was around when it was 4,000 subs. Right now it's 2.6 million in the 5.5 years I've been here at PHP.
Dang.
So,
that's amazing.
You know, one thing about PBD, he's just nasty consistent. I mean, if it's 10 o'clock at night that his day is done, but he's got to shoot a video at 10 o'clock at night, or he's got to come in at 6 o'clock to shoot a video so he can operate his day job, basically the business that he founded, just to make sure his content is out there. That's what.
Yeah. I've started this podcast recently, and I've been like the past couple of weeks, I've been like a little stuck because I run basically a factory. I have 16 employees. We have to print shirts, get everything out. And I got a great team right now. And we just hired like a second printer, which means like I don't have to do some on the weekends. I kind of like having to do it sometimes because it keeps me busy. It's giving me something to do. And now everything's going great over there. And I have like a little bit more time. And I'm just like, what should I be doing? It's a new feeling. Like I have more time now. Like, what should I be doing? And I'm just found out I got approved to get a new building that we're going to be growing into. And I'm excited about that. But there was a period where I was waiting to hear for it. Yeah. You ever get stuck? Like, do you ever have days, or have you ever seen Patrick Bet-David like have days where you're like not feeling it? Like,
of course.
Has it ever happened to you? Do you ever get stuck for a period of time?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in terms of a mental step, but we always got our next moves in front of us. So, you know, when we come across those moments where, you know, we are stuck, it's always, okay, I got an impasse here. So how do I get around this moment? Because I still need to accomplish this. Right. So, you know, obviously his book is your next 5 moves. So if you constantly know what your next moves are, there's always going to be opportunity, because one of the things that our guys will experience when they run in their business, they're going to start making money. And if they don't have a next shot, if they don't have a next, they get comfortable, and then standards starts lowering. So all the hustle, all the energy, all the blood, sweat, and tears necessary to lift up your business starts actually falling and losing momentum, because you don't put that same energy to get to the next level. So there's always got to be a next level. Otherwise, just like we were talking about those retirees, there's nothing much to fight for. Instead of leading your business, you're managing your business. Nobody wants to deal with the manager. Right.
And yeah, at least I like that is the key, I think, if you are stuck. A lot of people are probably stuck because they don't know what their next step is. When I was like, for the last couple of weeks, waiting to hear about this building, everything's going great. I mean, we're having one of our biggest sales months. I was just like, but I knew what my next step was. So that's for anybody. That is for entrepreneurs or not entrepreneurs, I think. Like, if you know what your next move is, like, then you can, even if you're having a bad day, you can always, all right, I just got to focus on this next thing. But I feel like a lot of people get stuck because they don't know what their next thing is.
Sure.
Like, that's a hard thing. Like, I've people ask me, like, some young people, they're like, I am ready to go. I want to make money. What do I do? And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, what do you want to do? And they're like, I don't know. And I don't know. I don't know what to tell them sometimes. I'm like, well, what are you passionate about? And they're like, I don't know. I like sports. I like
Yeah.
Girls, I like money. Like, I'm like, well, almost like I started with t-shirts, and I don't know why I started with t-shirts. I just picked something, and
Yeah.
now I have like a personalized e-commerce clothing business. I started with t-shirts for no reason. What would you say to somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur but doesn't know what first step to take and has no passion for a specific field?
Well, figure out maybe 3, 4, 5 things you might be interested in. Reach out to the people that are running those type of businesses and go consider working them for free. Go in there and say, I'm working for you for a little amount. I want to create value for your firm, or operate. I want to operate in a very small budget for it. It's a de minimis amount that you're not going to feel the salary, but I want to create more value than what you're ever going to pay me, because I want to learn your business and I want to find a way to complement your business. Consider this: Nikola Tesla worked for Thomas Edison, and Thomas Edison didn't pay him no mind about the ideas he had about currency. Right. And who knows, we could have had electric cars, electric this, and we could have, a lot more travel, but he didn't pay attention to it, but he worked for him for a minute until he put his ideas in. And now who picked it up? Elon Musk.
That's right.
Elon Musk.
And I have a Tesla. It's amazing. I love it.
Right. Especially in that insanity mode and that fart blaster you got in that.
Yeah. That's the first thing I show people. When someone gets in the car for the first time, the first thing I do is hit the fart button. And I'm like, I should probably wait 5 minutes.
That's his humor, man. That's his humor to put something like that in his car. Right?
It's so dumb. But I think that's interesting about like pick three to five things. And I feel like if I said that to someone, they might say, well, I don't know what 3 to 5 things. Like, how important do you think, like, how passionate are you about insurance? It doesn't matter.
For me, I was in a situation where I was a single dad. I just got out of the Marines. I just needed a job. This sounded like a cool thing to do. It sounded cool. It was going to pay me. Right. And I just started making money. I honestly, quite frankly, I don't think I had any passion in it for about maybe the first couple of years. But I was passionate about feeding my family. I was passionate about not depending on anybody else. I was passionate about being more independent. And then somebody asked me 2-3 years into it, because my third year, and I started making $100,000 a year. And it's like, so what are you doing this for? And I said, oh, you know what I do this for? I do this for this, that. I love it when people's eyes bug out because I'm teaching the rules of money. I'm like, I can do that. I can do this. Yes. That's why I jump out of bed every morning. That's the passion behind it. Right. Oh, that's why you do it. So for me, it was more than just the money. By the way, I hope what you do is more than just the money, because if money is just the initial goal to what you're looking for, it's too short-sighted. It's too small of a thinking, because here's the thing: you're going to make money, and then what?
You're right. Right. Exactly. I mean, I sell girls' clothing. Like, I'm not super passionate about it, but I love waking up every day and building the business element of it. So I'm basically selling units, and that's the thing I'm passionate about. And then, and then starting the podcast and stuff like that for fun and talking about it. But you got to start somewhere. So for the people who are stuck, they want to start a business, they don't know what, just pick something and go and rock. And then you can adjust down the road.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, but you said sales. Sales is the most important skill for someone. Who do you think is the best salesman of all time?
To me, it's Jesus.
Yeah, dude, I said that the other day. I mean, religion aside, that guy's a great personal brander, and he's been discussed across the world for thousands of years.
And then the first guy he recruited was an entrepreneur.
Who's that? Who's the first guy recruited?
It was Peter. Peter, right? Come, I'll make you fishers of men.
Right.
But he was smart. He recruited a fisherman that owned the boats to help transport his ministry throughout the Sea of Galilee. Think about that.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's something. But I outside of that, I was like Pitbull. I grew up on listening to Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins. Just the way Live a Life of Passion is his CD tape series. I just said cassette tapes, didn't I? I would listen to all his tapes, and I think another one for me was Les Brown. These are motivational people. They sell their topic in a very inspirational way. And by the way, for me, that's how I sell. If I'm inspired by something, I don't have to pitch you on the logistics and the logic of it. I pitch you on why. Maybe because I'm in an intangible industry where selling insurance is an intangible product. Right.
If you were selling a hat, you might be like, it fits great and it's comfortable. But you're selling the idea a little bit, like the feeling.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a combination of anecdotal stories as well as logical, data about why you need to consider life insurance. But you have to fill it with a lot of stories. So a lot of storytelling goes on in the life insurance industry.
And I feel like a lot of the times in that industry, they will buy from somebody who they want to just be around or talk to a couple times a year, right? So that the personality part's important.
Yeah.
I have life insurance. I bought life insurance from an old friend. You're in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
I used to live in Elk Grove Village outside of Chicago for
Up the street.
really?
Yeah.
7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Best years of my life. And I moved and I went to a different high school. And I always actually had dreams about like when I used to live there, because it was like a part of my life that was incredible. And I ended up reconnecting with a friend who reached out to me because he was selling life insurance.
Good.
And I think I bought it because of like the nostalgia of like connecting with an old friend from these years of my
Good.
life that were so important. Otherwise, I wasn't even really necessarily looking for life insurance, but
Good for you. Yeah.
it's like an example of the person and the so I'm sure
Yeah.
you're amazing at it, and all you guys, Patrick Bet David. I love Patrick Bet David's little painting that he's got.
Yeah.
He's got Einstein, Tupac, all in the same room.
Martin Luther King, Milton Friedman,
Yep.
Senna.
Who would be on yours if you had a painting with all your favorite people?
Well, I got one already. Well, it's kind of sort of Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan's back there. You know, I did have a cigar with him a couple of years ago when he.
No way.
It was crazy. I was invited to his grand opening, my wife and I, and for 3 hours we burned 2 cigars. And
what you guys talk about?
We just talked about business, basketball, mindset. And go figure. I'm around the '85 Chicago Bears and Michael Jordan, because we're all his grand opening for his new restaurant, and all these athletes. Ahmad Rashad, his agent, his lawyer, his director of control for the Charlotte Hornets, all right there. And then it was my wife and I. It wasn't the mayor of Oak Brook. It wasn't the mayor of Chicago. It wasn't all. It was just us. It was like, what? Am I in a movie right now?
Dude, that's so cool.
And I'm just sitting down and talking to him. And the interesting thing about him is that 12 years he played the game without being the number one paid player in the NBA.
Really?
His 13th year, he finally then became the number one paid player in the NBA.
Dang.
But he mastered his craft. Oh yeah, he mastered his craft.
I'm sure he's making a lot of those Nike endorsements and all that.
Yeah, he gets paid more now in Nike in 1 year than his entire NBA playing career.
Yeah. Jordan, I feel like, did you get this perception when you met him? I mean, one of the things I love about him, one of the reasons he's so different than LeBron is he's kind of like a dick, like a competitive dick, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I mean, he's amazing. But like, did you get that sense when you were talking with him? Yeah.
He was challenging the Bears. Hey, it was one of the linebackers, one of the defensive ends. You'd know them if I tell the name. The audience would know too.
Like,
hey, so
Mike Singletary and all them.
Yeah. He's what do you guys what do you guys doing these days? Yeah, you still talking about what you did in '85? Yeah. So there's pressure. He'd
be like a tough guy to have as like a friend or like a buddy. I feel like, always just pressuring. I'm better than this. I think it's funny. I saw I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, and his boat was sighted. He's fishing now. Competitive fishing. Wow. And I was just thinking about him competitively fishing, and I'm just like, oh, he's probably like such a fucking like, I got the biggest fish, or like he's just very, very competitive. And like, I mean, I love that about him. I love that competitive. Like, is Patrick like that? Like,
yeah, he is. Yeah,
because I mean, I don't think Michael Jordan would have the best podcast per se, because you kind of got to float ideas and bring in people with opposing viewpoints and talk and think over issues. Like, I don't know if Michael Jordan would be the best at that. Pat's amazing at that, but is he put on like maybe a little different mode than he is when he's in like business competitive mode?
Yeah, I think Jordan could do it. I mean, he's a deep thinker. He's a very deep thinker. He thinks, a lot of guys think 1, 2, 3 moves. Jordan thinks 10, 15, 20 moves inherently. Like I'm trying to anticipate his answers. What I would say if he was to answer it, and just to see what his answer would be, and completely takes off a different direction, which is 3, 4, 5 moves deeper than what I was initially thinking. Like, damn, I didn't even think about it like that. That's the way Jordan answers things.
Dang.
Like, there's he understands the butterfly effect of this answer. Oh, can we choose this answer? That's Jordan. And by the way, that was just after a 3-hour conversation, me just getting to know him in a very relaxed environment, smoking cigars with his buddies.
Right.
So yeah, I would think that he is. And I think he has a lot of opinions about a lot of things, but he doesn't want to be held responsible the same. Well, Michael Jordan said this, so that's why I need to do it. I don't think he wants that responsibility.
Yeah, he understands how much weight it carries. And I like how he put out that documentary. It was
beautiful.
Apparently people are trying to get him to do it for a long time. And he did it like right at the moment where LeBron, you know, is going to be in the conversation and being the best ever. And he's like, no, remember me?
Yeah. We're buying some time on ESPN. We're showing it now this year. Yeah.
What a fun job.
And LeBron responds by, oh, I'm winning a championship. So it's okay. Back in Jordan's court now. What's Jordan going to do now? I'm waiting to see that.
Yeah, they're very different. They're very different people, I think. The way just they approach basketball and like off the court stuff. But LeBron's got that longevity, so we'll see. Yeah. How fun would it be to be an athlete, man? Like, what would be if you had a magic wand? What would be your dream career?
Yeah, I mean, it's I would think that somewhere around sports and athletics would have been my dream career, because that's what I wanted when I was a kid. You know, the spotlights, the bright lights, you know, the recognition, the competition, the glory. You know, so I would say I'd be a football player somehow, some way. But then again, I'm Filipino. I'm not tall enough, not big enough.
Aren't you big? Aren't you like 6'4"?
Yeah. I guess I don't know, Jesse. Maybe but I physically peaked. I'm somewhere around my physical peak in my 40s. Like, okay. I never peaked in my 20s and 30s. My physical peak has been in my late 30s, 40s, which has been the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
But some guys peak in when they're 12, you know, and they become man-child, you know, and they get drafted. But
and then they get like a scholarship, and it turns out they suck. But I thought I was going to be in the NBA up until about like 7th grade. It's just delusional. Like, I'm a good basketball player, but I think, why does everyone want to be an athlete? Why does everyone's dream job to be an athlete, be in the NBA or the NFL? Just like the glory of the cheering.
Yeah, I think initially that was my dream, because you just saw for me, somebody asked me, are you driven by money or driven by recognition? I'm driven by recognition.
There's
a lot of recognition.
Driven by recognition. I think some people could say, I completely understand that. Some people would say, oh, wow, that's selfish. Like, what would be your counter to someone who's like, oh, what a egomaniac, arrogant person who's driven by recognition?
Yeah, because I understand the influence and the impact you can have with that type of recognition. You know, when you have influence, but listen, don't be afraid when you give man money. Be careful when you give man power and influence. That's what
also, when you die, if you have all the money in the world, it doesn't matter. But like you mentioned, Jesus, like, it's my great-great-great-grandpa. Don't know who he is. And I feel like stories will live on if you have family members who tell those stories. But then the next generation, the stories will fade away. And imagine how many people that have lived there's no trace of them anywhere. They've gone. They're vanished from the world. Like, that's kind of sad. Like, I want to live on for as long as I possibly can after I die. Like, people like Jesus, George Washington, like, those people are going to be remembered forever. And some people might just be remembered for a few generations. But I feel like that's like the best goal of life, is to try to be remembered for as long as you can after you die, which relates to what you said, recognition.
Sure. Yeah, you want to make a difference. We want to make a difference. You know, the thing is, we updated our will and our trust. And there's now, because now my kids are older. I have a son now, it's 25. I have twin girls that are 19. We have a 10-year-old and we have a 2-year-old. And so we updated the trust, because we want to make sure that these kids, that if something were to happen to me, something were to happen to my wife, Sheena, that they're going to get their nice spiff in the beginning, but they're going to be trust fund babies, but they're not going to be millionaires right from jump.
Nice.
Because they never earned the money that we earned. Right. They'll get something. They'll get a head start. You know, they'll have money, capital, start a business, or start something in their life much larger than I had when I first started, which was zero.
Right.
But if they don't perform in their life, they get nothing from the trust.
That's awesome.
So it's all capitalism. Awesome. If you don't perform, and then if you do perform, here's the cool part. If you do perform, Sean, like if you're one of my kids, if you do perform, let's say you make $50,000 a year, then we match you.
Nice.
So you can get $50,000 from the trust.
And that's all like written into the legalese of the trust.
That's it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So that's so important. Like, when I mentioned parenting and how interesting it is, I feel like it's tough to be a rich parent, especially because a lot of rich parents or successful parents came from zero, and they want to give that skill to their kid, and they understand how important it is. That's a great way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to teach the kids how to live with scarcity and how to deal with failure. Because for the most part, you know, you're in an environment. I told the kids, we have a nanny in the house. We have people that clean the house. We have people that wash my car. We have all these different jobs at the house, but they work for us. They don't work for you. You're still responsible for cleaning your room, right? You clean your toilet. You clean your bathroom. When you have a car, you wash your car. You fill your car, maintenance, all this stuff. But the money you earn, we'll give you a head start, but it's up to you to own it. Otherwise, you junk it, and then we'll just cash out whatever you junked it for, and then you take whatever's left. But that's your asset. you just decide to take care of it.
I love that. I love that. Do you see, like you said, is your oldest one 10?
My oldest son is 25.
Oh, your oldest son's 25. Okay. Have you like took those same parenting approaches to them? I'm just wondering if like, great parenting, if you can like start to see it at a certain age and start to be like, okay, I see that this is working, and I see that they start to understand this.
So what I taught my kid is I taught all three of my older kids, because my wife and I were a blended family. I had kids. Okay. She had a son. We have four together, 4 blended family. We have one together, which is not going to come to be.
It's almost the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you have a nanny like Alice.
Right. and so the conversation with them is they all know how to. The 3 older ones, they know how to sell. Right? They know how to sell. They're getting better in learning how to negotiate, because when they want to ask me for something, great, pitch me something. You want something for your dad? No problem. It's cool to know that your daddy's got the pockets. Pitch me something. You have a different credit score with me, but pitch me something. All right. Pitch me how you're going to get it. How you're going to keep it. How you're going to earn it. How you're going to maintain it. How you're going to have this flourish into something greater. Tell me how you can be a good steward about this type of investment I'm making, for whether it be a car or this trip, whatever. How is it going to drive benefits to you? It just can't be one thing. For fun, so.
And I know you were a military guy. Like, would you ever want your kids to join the military?
I've been telling them. I want them to serve. Now, it may not be the Marines.
Right. Okay.
But go if I think this too, Sean. I think one of my biggest things. I think one of the things that we lack right now in our country is appreciation and gratitude. And I think if more people found ways to serve a nonprofit, it could be the Peace Corps, it could be the military for a year or two. Because think about this: everybody in Israel has to serve the military for 2 years. Every Mormon I've run across, they have to serve their faith for 2 years. And then I see the product of how they come out and how much they appreciate the country, how they appreciate their faith, and what better steward and servant they become to other folks and other people. I think that's what's lost in America. And I know when I got out of the military, I appreciate America so much more. I remember being deployed, coming back, kissing the ground. Even though America ain't perfect, it's better than any other location in the world. When I got all this money and success and passive income, I'm still in America. I want to be here. Even though I can run my business online and virtual, I'm still here.
Yeah. I love that. That's such an important message, I think, for everyone. Like, just appreciation and gratitude. And right, if you never were taught it, or you never went to the military or something, or you never really sat down and thought about how grateful you were, then maybe it can just pass you by. And that's I feel bad for people like that don't appreciate, like, we're just so lucky to be alive in this day and age, in this time, in this country. We're all very lucky. And a lot of people have unfortunate situations, of course, but proud to be American.
Amen to that, man. I always say the only race we care about is the human race. And the only color I worry about is the color of green.
Green. I love that.
Green tends to unify, make people happier. That's just the thing. If you have something to fight for, and you receive something because you earned it, it's the greatest feeling.
Yeah, that's a Kanye West line. He says, "Yeah, that's right. I'm racist because I only like green faces."
Look at you,
Kanye West. He's one of my inspirations. He's such an interesting guy. I don't know if he's an absolute idiot or a genius, but he just fascinates me. And then he's so successful. I have a problem that I can never think down upon or insult somebody who's more successful than me, because I just feel like such a hater. If someone is so successful, I can't hate them. I love Kim Kardashian. I love anyone successful, even if I don't agree with them. I'm just like, wow.
Well, it speaks to your character. I mean, if you're out there hating on people that are more successful than you, it actually is a revelation on you.
I couldn't.
Instead of saying, "Hey, congrats, dude, how can I learn from these people?" Instead of hating on them, that's why all these people think that rich people are evil. Like the people I've hung around are the people that you've interviewed, Sean. You've interviewed a lot of rich people.
I have.
You can't tell me that these guys are jerks.
No, great people. Anyone that'll come on the podcast with me is a great person.
You know what I'm talking about? And they're willing to give. They're willing to share. They're willing to bless your audience. They don't have to do it. You're not paying us to do it. We want to be here. So rich people aren't all jerks. They want to give back. You just get asked questions, but you won't.
I love that.
Because you just want their money. And
rich people aren't jerks. I love that. It's a good message, because a lot of people think money's bad, but you can be a good person.
For sure.
All right, so we'll wrap this up, but any final messages, final thoughts, final pitch, parting words?
Well, is this getting launched before election?
When's this going to come out, Brandon? It'll probably come out Monday or Tuesday, right on the election day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this, you probably listen to this on either Monday before election day or Tuesday as election day. It's probably a chaotic time in our country right now.
That's right.
One thing I would say that if you want to be in a position, you're building a business, and you want the government to stay out of it, just keep this in mind. A government that's big enough to give you what you want is also a government that's big enough to take away everything that you've earned to work for. So just consider that, because we live by this mantra: give a man a fish for a day, he'll eat. But you teach him how to fish, that man or woman will live forever, and they'll pass it on for generation to generation. And when I read the Constitution, when I read the Declaration of Independence, it starts with "we the people," not "we the black, white, green, red, blue." Right? It's "we the people." We are a people. I know, Matt, it was a different. We had slavery back. I know, but we have a better understanding of what it is today. But we the people. Sean, you're my brother. Your wife, my sister. Right? We're a community. And if we stop thinking that we're a community, that we are here to help one another out, and by creating trade and commerce and exchange of goods and services with one another, help bless each other, ultimately down the road. I like supporting my businesses and entrepreneurs. I like being able to do that, because that's what I want somebody to do with me. And so when you're thinking about where our country is going to be right now, as you vote, as you go into voting booths, think about long-term, what's going to help you. And here's the thing: for a position, you might have to think a little bit of selfishly, because you can't give what you don't have. And how selfish it is of you to say, if I don't want to do it, then somebody owes me something. This country is not supposed to be on life, liberty, and pursuit of entitlement. It's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And you're most happy when you go out there and you're free and you're able to hunt and you're able to eat based on what you hunt.
Amen.
That's on you.
Amen.
That's on you. And
who's done more good for the world, Bill Gates or some poor guy? Like, you got to be a little selfish. And even if this is listened to after the election, hopefully we have a winner and there's not chaos in the streets. But I think we'll be all right as a country. And
no matter what, no matter who's in the presidency, no matter who's in the White House, the most important thing is what goes on in your house.
Exactly. Someone sitting in a chair in Washington can't affect your daily happiness. You control that, right?
Yeah. Ultimately, one president will definitely help you out, but at the end of the day, you still got to deal with your situation, the president of the United States and the Congress that's elected to pass laws and bills that help get you in a much better position. So therefore, stop bitching and complaining and you're done voting. If you really care about the country, go out there, get involved. Young Democrats, young Republicans, get out there in some community service, learn what it means to be a Republican, learn what it means to be an independent, learn what it means to be something Democrat. But don't just sit there and bitch and complain because somebody isn't giving you what you expect. Go out there, be the change that you hope to seek in this world, and you'll be a lot more happier in doing it because you're involved.
Boom. That is a beautiful message. I love it. Matt Sapaula, money smart guy. You're the man. Thanks so much for coming on. And salute, brother.
Thanks for having me. All right, Sean.
Thank you.
Be good, man.
Have you ever heard a better podcast in your entire life? Take that, Joe Rogan. Best podcast you've ever heard. Get more podcasts right here and subscribe to the show too while you're at it. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. Honestly, I love you.